your Zero Code Club. In this video, we're going to see how to create a professional looking website like this completely using no-code tools. So what is this application about? This application is about tracking your own stock portfolio. So it has a login screen, and if we log into the screen, we'll be able to see the list of all the stocks that we bought with icons against it as a list. You can search against it, and then when you click to drill down, you'll see the current market information of the specific stock. What's the current price, what was the high of the day and the low of the day. You'd also be able to see what is your investment. You purchased 100 stocks of it at 45 as buy price, so this is your overall investment and this is your current market value, and what is your profit and loss based on your investment. Not just that, you'll also be able to add new stocks based on your purchase on a specific day for a specific price, and once you add them, this is going to get added as one more entry at the bottom. So all of this can really be very easily be created within about half an hour using a tool called Glideapps, and that's what we're going to see in this video. All right, in this video, we're going to see the tool stack that we're going to use to build this specific application. So let's go to the slide on fundamentals of building any no-code tools. So there are essentially three elements to building a no-code tool. First is the UI layer, where you design how the application will look. You'll decide how the data should be presented to the user on the front end. And then there is the backend, the database, which is where you store the data that you want to present to the user. And there has to be some mechanism of interfacing the front end with the backend, typically through an API. So in our case, for this specific tool, the front end is going to be built using an application called Glide. The backend for this is going to be Google Sheets, and Glide comes pre-built with integration with Google Sheets, so we don't have to worry about this integration layer separately. Now, what is Glide? Glide is a easy-to-use no-code tool that helps you build beautiful-looking web as well as mobile applications. And it is the only application that I know that uses Google Sheet as its backend. And in terms of pricing, it is free to set up. So if you want to just play around with the app, you can go ahead and create a free account. If you want to publish the app into Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, you might have to upgrade to a premium paid plan. So for the purposes of the demo, we're going to use a free plan just to show what is possible. So let's go ahead and log into our Glide app. All right. Now, first up, we need to create the backend database. So let's name it as My Stock Portfolio. And then we need to add the details that we want here. So let's say stock, and then what details. So we're going to use a service called Google Finance for this. So Google Finance provides a function that you can directly call in Google Slides. And this function is Google Finance ticker and attribute. There are also other detailed parameters that we can pass to this function, but for the purpose of the demo, we are going to be only concerned with the first two details. So what is a ticker? Now, ticker is something like this, where the first column is the exchange, the second one is the stock symbol that is used in the exchange. The attribute are things that we need. So what is the current price of the stock? What was the price when it opened? What is the high of current day's high price? What is the current day's low price, and what is the volume? So let's add these as the details that we want in our stock. So let me go in here. I'm going to add price. I'm going to add high, and I'm going to add low, and I'm going to add volume. All right. So let's first add the details for Apple stocks. So Apple ticker. So this is what we want. So this is the ticker for Apple. So let's go ahead, copy and paste it here. So we should remove this spacing here, otherwise Google Finance wouldn't work. So let's say go equal to Google Finance, and first we need the ticker, so let's select the ticker. The second value needs to be the attribute, so we're passing price as the attribute, and I'm hitting enter. So this is the current price of Apple stock in NASDAQ. Similarly, we can get the current day's high from NASDAQ for the stock, and we can also get the current day's low for the stock, and we can get the total volume of the stock that has been traded in NASDAQ so far. Right, so we populated the data. Now next is we might want to also capture our investment in the stock, right? So let's say quantity bought. So how much did we buy? So let's say we bought 50 of this Apple stock, and at what price did we buy? Let's say we bought it for 155, and what is the date when we bought it, right? Maybe we can say buying date. It could be that we bought it on the October of this month. So we got all these three details. We might also want to get the, what is the profit and loss, right? So what is my total investment, right? So this will be a multiplication of the amount that I bought and at what price that I bought, and then what is the current value, how much is that stock worth now. So we're going to say quantity bought and multiplied with the current price, and then what is the profit and loss. This is going to be the current value minus the total investment. So that's the profit and loss. All right, now we can keep adding a few more things. Let's go ahead and add Netflix ticker. So all right, so I have populated the data with a few details of the stocks. So here we have Apple, Netflix, Google, Meta, and Amazon. So now let's bind this Excel sheet or Google sheet in the front end for Glideapps. So here let's go ahead and say new project, and then let's add it asks an option of mobile or a web page. Let's go ahead and select mobile, and here I'm going to say my portfolio tracker, and this app, where is this going to be primarily used on? It's going to be used on phone. So I'm going to hit continue, and here they have three options to choose your database, which is your backend. Airtable is coming soon, so that option is out of the question. So you have the choice between storing it in Google Sheets or Glide tables. So Glide table is Glide's inbuilt database. In our case, we have chosen Google Sheets, so we're going to go ahead and continue. Now, once you do that, it's going to connect to your Google Drive and then ask which sheet do you want to create. I'm going to choose my stock portfolio, which we just created, and it's going to create a new app for us to view. So by default, once you link your Google Sheets with your Glideapps, it automatically creates a list view based on the column in your spreadsheet. So the first column is what is being added there as a list, and then when you drill down, it shows the other details of your app. This can be further improved, so let's see how we can do that. But before that, let's see how the overall layout of Glideapps is. So in Glideapps, you have 3 columns at the top. The first one is the data source. So this, when you click, this shows the data in your Google Sheets. So all of what you had in Google Sheet gets imported here as well. So you can add new rows or new columns, and they will also get added in the sheet. You can also add new tables, that is new sheets within Google Sheets. And you can do all of your data related details just from here. The second one is the current view of your tab. Here you can switch between a tab and a mobile phone and a tab, as well as an Android and an iOS, just to see how things look. And this is where you will do the design of your app. How should it look visually? What color palettes should you use, and so on and so forth. And on the left hand side, you will have, what is it that you're viewing, which tab you're viewing, and what menu you're viewing, and which screen you're viewing, and so on. And then this one shows what is within that specific screen, right? If you want to change specific components, you can go ahead and do here. Hopefully that has given you a good explanation, a quick overview of how the layout of Glideapps looks like. Now let's go ahead and update the specific application. So first up, I don't think, we have enough information here because this just shows the, exchange and, what is this stock about. We probably need more here. First up, you can change the style. You can have a list like this, or you can have a tile like this, or you can have cards like this, or you can have swipe. You can keep swiping like you see in Tinder, but in our case, let's keep it simple. And we might need more details, so I'm going to say edit list, and this is the data that we want to display on the front end. So first, we might want to show the current price of the stock as well, and we might want to show how much is the volume, or we might want to show how much of quantity of stock we currently own in this particular stock. And there is also the option of displaying the image against this particular stock, but we haven't added images till now. But let's see how that can be added in later. So now that we have added this here, let's drill down. So here it shows all of the details of that stock. We might want to make it more better and segment them a little bit more in detail. So let me go ahead and remove all of this. Now I'm going to click plus, and this shows all of the possible components that you can add in this page. Right, so you can add links, you can add that favorite button, you can add texts, actions, and like buttons, and a lot of things you can add here. But for our purposes, let's add a simple table. And here I'm going to give a title for this table. This is going to be the current market information. Okay, and then the data for this is going to be, that's fine. We want to give the stock information, and then we might want to show the current price. Right, and then we might want to show the high. So we're just going to say today's high. And then we might want to show the low. And then we might want to show the volume, total volume. All right, and then let's go ahead and add one more basic table, and this is going to be my investment. All right, so here I'm going to show how much did I buy, and then we're going to show what was the buy price. And then we're going to show the total investment, and then we're going to show the current value of this investment. Let's go ahead and add one more table, and this is going to be profit and loss. And here we're going to show what is it that we want to show here, profit loss. Okay, in this case, we're making a cool profit of $1,200, which is pretty cool. So we have added all of these, details. So you can rearrange it if you want it to be in a different sequence. So now we have the detail section pretty neatly arranged. What we might also want to add is an image. So let's go ahead and do that in the next part. In this section, we're going to see visually how we can improve this a little bit more. So first up, we need a login screen. So I'm going to click this visual section, and now in the appearance, I'm going to choose whichever color that suits my brand. I'm going to choose this specific part of blue. And the app info, if you have any icon for the app, you can go ahead and add it. And if you want to add privacy, right now anybody can use this app and view the details. You want to limit access by sign in, or you might want sign in with an email, or you might want to sign in by password, and so on. So in our case, let's limit access by password and keep a really simple password of 123456. And then sharing screen, like if you wanted to share, what should it be? And then sign in screen is going to look like this. So if you had your privacy to say public with email and went to sign in screen, this is going to ask their email. But because we went privacy with limit access by password, when you go to sign in screen, it's just going to ask the password. All right. And then these are other details that you can add based on what you want to do. So these are the things that are not concerned with us. Now let's go back to our application. So we've added a home page where someone will log in. So now I want to be able to add a new stock by myself. Now how can I do that? So let's see how you can do that. Here you can add by clicking the add form in the home page and say allow users to add. So plus button comes in, so anybody can now add the specific application. So if you want to quickly test out how this will look, you scroll to the bottom and select play mode and say plus, and this will list out all of the details of your input form. So in this, we don't want, this will by default display all of the columns in the sheet. So we don't want users to edit all of them. So let's go ahead and remove things that don't make sense. For example, the profit and loss doesn't make sense as an input. The current value, total investment, buying date makes sense, buy price makes sense, and how much quantity you bought makes sense. Volume, no. Low, no. Current today's high, no. Today's price, no. And the stock details, this makes sense. So these are the 4 details that actually make sense. Here someone can add details and send it to the backend. But the problem here is user can enter literally anything, but we don't want that. We want it to be data that can be selected from a drop down possibly. So how can we do that? So that can be done by creating something called a relation. So for to do that, let's go to the backend data, because it's going to be easier to do from here. I'm going to go ahead and add one more sheet here. I'm going to say reference data, and here I'm going to copy this section called stock and paste it here. All right, and the next one is going to be an image. So I want to give an image for these stocks. So let's search for Apple logo. All right, and what we can do here is right click, copy image address, go to your Excel sheet, paste it. Similarly, we're going to get the logos for other icons as well. All right, now we have populated the images against the sheet. Now let's go back to our application. Let's go back and refresh it. So we have a column which is reference data and has all of the images populated against it. So now let's go back and to portfolio, and here what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new column which is reference. All right, and this is going to be a relation column, and here we're going to say get all of the details. So here we have stock, and here also we have stock, so we're going to get all the details of this and populate it here. That's why, you know, relation columns are going to be useful. So let's select the type as relation. So relate to items where the value in stock matches with the value in stock, right? So we got the relations here. All right, so we've added the relation. Now we're going to add one more column which is called image, and this is what we're going to use. We're going to use it as a lookup, and we're going to look it up against the relation column and get the values in the image. So here, you know, we're just getting now we've added the image in the lookup. Now let's go back to the front end, and here let's map the image to this detail. So let's click edit and select the image, and then choose image from the drop down. Now we have the details added here. Now what we might also want to do is add an image here as well. So let's go ahead and click and search for image in the component, in the detail view, and I'm going to add it, drag it to the top of this page. So when someone clicks from the list view to the details view, they'll have this image first and then the relevant information here. Now when someone clicks add here, what we also wanted to add was a drop down. So this is a text entry. Instead we want a drop down, so let's remove it and let's add a new component and search for the choice component. Let's drag it to the top. So this is going to be a drop down, and this is going to list the list of values from the stock field, right? But we shouldn't map it to the stock field. We should map it to the reference data, because the reference data is going to have the list of items. So I'm going to add it here, and this is going to be displayed as stock. And do we want a default value? Maybe we just want the default to be, you know, Apple all the time, and that's it. So we have the details added here as well. So let's go ahead and publish this, and I'm publishing this app, and now the app is now ready for viewing. Let's copy this and paste it in the URL, and that's it. So let's say 1 2 3 4 5 6, continue. So we have the list of, you know, elements here, and I'm going to add a new entry. I'm going to choose Meta. I bought 50 of Meta at the price 3456. I'm going to go ahead and choose OK, and I'm going to click add, and one more Meta element has been added here. And if I go into the details of any particular stock that I bought, I see the, you know, image, I see the current market information, I see what is my investment detail and what is the current profit or loss specific to this specific investment. So hopefully that has given you a good overview of what is possible using, you know, no-code tools and how quickly you can create an app using Glideapps. Thank you for seeing, and hope to see you in one more tutorial.